in the act of recording another video about, like, making an arm to refuel stuff, but that's fairly simple, and I already have, like, the basic setup over there, and it's just, oh, I forgot I was wearing 2 pairs of goggles. And it's fairly simple, but what I wanted to look at instead, because I found a ponder, was really interesting, and if I go ahead and ponder this, it was this one. Using nozzles, you can make fans turn into a hovercraft, and I want to make a hoverbike using it. So I think first and foremost, I need to see what this can do. So if I go ahead and auto-glue that, and then assemble it, where does it push from? And can I use turning to change how it pushes? It does seem to push from the center point out in all directions. Oh, but you can block off directions to stop it from hovering that way. Maybe. Not sure, actually. Let me grab some trapdoors. Because trapdoors are lighter. And then if I push you like that, versus if I push it like that, I am not sure. Now, this is a modded gyro, but I like using it because gyroscopic saturation exists in aeronautics, but gyroscopic precession doesn't seem to, which means that if you rotate a reaction wheel of a normal kind, it will start rotating as you speed up, but then once you get to a certain, like once you get to your max speed, it stops counter-rotating you, which is called gyroscopic saturation, which is a real-life term. And then gyroscopic precession is when it's kind of like how a spinning top will, like, stay upright due to its spinning motion, and it doesn't seem to have that in the slightest, so it doesn't resist rotation based on having that. So I think that it's gonna be fine to use this, and it's my video anyway, so I decide it's fine on that one. You don't have to use a gyroscope, you could use anything else, really. In fact, you could make it a car, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this, but hover bikes are so much cooler than cars. So here's my very basic idea. I want to put this here, and then I want to put a gearbox. And the reason I want to put a vertical gearbox is because I want to have a bearing here facing towards that, and then I can rotate this and glue this to get... Oh, that's just going to glue everything, isn't it? So I'm just going to glue this to itself, and then I can update that, and it's still outputting a force. So then if I turn that up, I'm betting it will output correctly. And we can see that if I do this, because it will hit like a sort of boundary where it doesn't want to anymore. And I can hook this up using an actual... Oh, that is not what I wanted to happen. And I'm going to hook this up using an actual engine, but I can rotate this. Here, I'm going to update that, and then build from here. Now feels like a good a time as any to start making this into a physics contraption, so that I can... Oh, do anything with it. So I can lock that, pick that up, move it over here, lock again. Okay, yeah, wait. Yeah, okay, so that's a separate entity now. I can then grab the fan, the nozzle, Oh, it's so powerful that it's pushing off the ground there. So I'm gonna make that like 64. And then I'm gonna make this bearing locked. And then I'm gonna restart it from there. And then if I get a cogwheel, and I've never used the steering wheel before, but now feels like a good time for it. I want to limit the angle, though, to like 30. Yeah, and then that can turn. And then we need a seat. It's kind of an odd placement for a seat. That's better. I moved that down. So now, this is still powered by an engine. It'll keep doing that. I might make the engine right here, if I'm gonna do a separate engine for each, but I could hook it up. I'm placing on the gyro for now. Turning this is the hard part. So we can turn it from here. And that works well. Kind of. Apparently, it's weird. But if I turn this all the way right, then that's facing forward, and then I replace this. And then I make this 30. I could have just made it 60 and then made it 30 again, but... And then rotating this to the right will be right, and the left will be left, and I have no clue if either of those are going to work out, and I might have to add another cogwheel, but this is what it is for now. But this isn't going to work out perfectly, because I need to have another fan and nozzle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this motor, right here. Yeah. And I'm going to get the gearbox. And the rotation of the gyro doesn't matter which way, so it only matters if the fan is blowing out. Which it is not. Meaning I can flip that, and now it is. And then get that there. I just can't help but feel there's an easier way to get this thing rotating. But for now, let's unfreeze it. See what it's doing. It's going forwards. Oh, the back one is more powerful, so I want like 63 here. So if the back one is more powerful, it goes forwards. But this is too heavy to operate. Okay, I'm looking at scrapping that design completely and going for a much simpler one. So if I go ahead and add a motor, I can add a better one later. Both of these are pulling out. What happens if I make both of them go in? Huh. But both of them going out. Oop, that is not what I intended. I'm glad that they made creative flight unaffected. But if I can get a fairly light block to be there, and then I can... I don't want that honey glue, because I want the fancy honey glue, the auto glue, to glue all of that together. And then I can physics assembling this, and then the gyro kicks in. And the weight is still uneven, so we're still drifting, but that tells me that the weight does matter. If I go ahead and grab a portable motor, attach that on there. Get a blaze cake, because if you take a blaze cake, you can get it to be blue, which just gives you more power. And I like that, especially for creative mode contraptions, because I don't need to worry about fueling. Okay, so we need to swap the rotation of you to be clockwise, and then you can work. And now I just need to worry about shifting the weight. And also I'm adding trapdoors to the side, because it keeps pushing me away. So I actually going, so this works so much better. So it's been a few seconds, and now we have a perfectly stable hover. Like, it's bouncing a little bit, but otherwise it's perfectly stable. And I'm wondering how I can get turned on this. If I break that, and then pause these before they go flying away too far, place that back there, place this here, and then I grab a bearing, not a mechanical bearing, a swivel bearing, put that there, set it to always locked, and then glue it on. It's out of range, I just need to move it the tiniest bit closer. And then I put a nozzle on here, move these up one, because it doesn't actually matter if something's on the fan, it matters if something's on the nozzle. And then I have rotating that, which is going to be this power source going down, in order to shift it. And then just to test, I can grab a... what am I looking for? A valve. A valve handle. Set this to, like, 15. Make sure that that's all assembled, and then I can rotate this by 15. Unrotate it by 15. Realize that I need more glue. Because I need to glue this to this, and then these, and all of this, that doesn't matter. And then that should be all glued together. In fact, it's already a part of a simulated contraption, so I don't think I do need to glue it like that. But then I can glue these, and update this. Yeah, and then this entire thing moves. And then, can I rotate this in order to turn? I'm gonna unlock it, wait for it to gain some stability again. It is a little bit forward heavy, so until it balances, it is going to go forward. And then if I go like this... So this isn't powerful enough to really fly much on its own. It can skid across the ground, sure, but... So I wonder if I make this a fan, make this a gearbox, right here, and then put this up one, put the handle on this side, still make it like 15, and then I connect these two up with like a chain, in case the chain drive. Then what is that doing? Is that pulling in? It is pulling in. Okay, so replace that with some cogs, and then detach that. And all of a sudden, it kind of works. It is flying away from me at an increasing speed. So I am going to stop it, and then get on, and then have it do whatever. I might have to... I'm not sure. Because right now it's very one-sided heavy, And if I rotate this, it's definitely going to turn. Because that's just how the fan will work. If I rotate this the other way... This is hard to control. Okay, so I've landed on a system that I really like. So basically, we have an iron block there, and I'm going to increase this angle to 90, and then when we rotate the iron block, it shifts the entire weight, and causes us to turn that way. And I want to have a different handle than the copper valve handle, because I want to be able to rotate this a different way. But this is the general idea for how I want to rotate it. So then if I set this back to 90 degrees, it's just hooked up to the same setup. Then I can rotate this way, rotate left, straighten out. And it's snapping because I'm holding sneak, but we can also... rotate in either way. So if I go hard right, then it goes right. If I snap it like that, it'll snap back to 0. And this works out for turning really well. For some reason, having it like this turns it right, but having it like this turns it left. And I'm not sure what the deal with that is, but I might, because it's turning enough, I might limit this to 45, and then flip the input of this gearbox. This reminds me of Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, TOTK, because they had that sort of, like, glue-together style engineering thing, and that's what the glue reminds me of. If we go ahead and grab a vertical brass gearbox, swap that out there, then I can rotate that. Yep. All the way left. We'll start turning us to the left. And then 0. Be about 0. Now we just need a way to go forwards and backwards. Interesting little discovery. If I close a trapdoor like there, it moves in that direction. So I think I can use that over here. Close a trapdoor on this. And use that to go forwards and backwards. But I need a casing. I need an andesite casing. Right there. And then I need a lever for forwards or backwards. It could be a throttle, but I don't know how to control the throttle for flipping a trapdoor open or shut, because it's not really a variable speed thrust. And then I need a link. A redstone link. Put one there. Put one here. I've probably already used sandstone, so vertical gearbox for both of these. I'll put another one on here, just for weight symmetry, because it does care about that. Make this one receiving by sneaking and right-clicking on it, which doesn't look a whole lot like sneaking, but it is. And then, if I power this on, we should go forward. If we go like this, we should go right. Here, I want to get over to that waypoint to the left. And it's a little bit drifty, but I think we can definitely work with this. Okay. And then left, a little bit right. I'm not even sitting in the seat. It's probably best that I wasn't, because I don't like being that low to the contraption. Okay. And then if I go right, and then turn left, a little bit more right, Using a trapdoor for this is kind of an interesting method of having thrust or not. But we are moving, and this is about as successful as I could have hoped for. There's probably a way to make this, like, way smaller. And I'm not even sure that I need 2 of the thruster things, but I just wanted to make it a bike, which is 2. And it's, all things considered, it's not using that much fuel. It is a blaze cake setup, so if you had more of this, you would need another 2 burners, or use blaze cakes. But we can move pretty quick, and I want to add a speedometer because of that. I kind of also want to add a fin to the back, because that seems beneficial. Like, if I could add a sail, a symmetric sail, to the back here, that's probably going to be beneficial to our direction of travel, like to our heading. And it also means that we can get flung up by doing that. So I am going to hatch that one back for the slab. You know what, we can do a stair. Yeah. And then the gyro's enough to keep it with 2 if we're on the long way, because we already have 2 thrust things that are about equal. So weight, front and back, doesn't matter quite as much. But what I do need to do is unflick that, test the general weight, and then go forward, left. I could hook this up to the fin in the back to rotate, but the weight rotation is good enough for me. The fin really does add like a ton of control to this. That adds more than I thought it would. Turning right. It makes the turning a little bit slower, and I might like remove a block, but... Oh, I'm turning. Forgot about that. And then, yeah, we're on the direction to travel quite well. I think that that waypoint is fairly far away. Yeah. It's from when I was doing speed tests. But this is working out so much better after I added the fin. This is really fast, though, for what it is. And I'm sure you could get faster, but let me get a velocity gauge, or velocity sensor. We're going like 30, and we're increasing in speed. So yeah, we're going pretty fast. Head right. A little bit. But this is working out really well. Thank you for watching. This is a bit of a different video. I have 2 sets of goggles again. But thanks for watching. I have no clue how many views this one will get, because it's not like a revolutionary idea. It's a hoverbike. It's a pretty cool hoverbike, but I think it's been done before. But I think it's really cool. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.